Okay, so for my final, I chose to do an art piece and call it Black Lives Matter. So I'm just going to talk about the piece a little bit. So for the background of the art piece, I have a Black Panthers party member, and then kind of within her face and her hair, you can see a shadow, actually, if you look close enough, of a lynching tree. So this kind of ties into the Jim Crow laws and how these movements came to be, and why people felt like they had to take action against the laws that were put in place and just the racism and social issues that they're having to face. In addition to that, on either side of the woman, I have Martin Luther, picture, which is dream underneath, and then Obama on the other side, which is hope. So that kind of just shows the then and the now of these issues. Then beneath that, I also have a newspaper article that says Public Sale Negro. So that kind of just ties in the whole history of series of events which have led up to now as well, going from slavery to just segregation and the Jim Crow laws and just the racism that kind of follows along with all of that. So then I also added public or like slogans that a lot of people have used, like stand our ground or all power to the people or power and equality, and added little pieces of history like colored entrance only, because that was a huge part of the segregation and just kind of the suppression in the South, as well. So for the power and equality down on the left hand corner, I added that because that's by an artist, who does the Obey posters. And I really like those because it kind of just takes a glimpse into how corrupt our government is and just looks at social issues that people are having to deal with currently. So I think that's his art is really simple but moving at the same time and just a huge part of our culture currently, um, while also kind of taking a step back and looking at history. So I feel like that's a really prominent thing that reminded me of class. Also, in the left hand upper corner, I have an image of a boy shouting, holding up a little flyer saying all power to the people. So that's kind of signifies like the Black Power movement and people being out there and taking action and standing up for what they believe in. In addition to that, I have the hashtag on the bottom, Black Lives Matter. That's really relevant to our current events. This hashtag has been very big in the last couple years, and so it's very relatable for people to look at the piece currently. Next to this hashtag, I also have a little image of the group NWA. We didn't talk about them in class, but I thought of them while we were learning about the FBI, and just kind of how they affect the news cycle and just how a lot of our society views people based on the power that they have in our society. The NWA is someone who people in my generation know about. It's a group of rappers, really well known rappers. And that's who I thought of because they dealt with those issues with the FBI as well, with them telling them to not talk about issues that they were facing or to just kind of shut up and be quiet about speaking out about people being harmed by the police or just what they see in their day to day lives. So that was something that I thought people my age would be able to relate to and kind of maybe understand what I'm talking about versus maybe a court case that they wouldn't know about offhand. And so that's basically my art piece. So it just kind of is meant to tie in all of these topics together and show how they all relate and kind of the history of everything that's happened. And then also, my last thing I wanted to talk about really quick is a photo next to Obama. It's a little boy and he's carrying a little bunny, but he's also kind of what some people might call thugged out. Banksy is really good at saying, painting things that makes people look at maybe ideas they have twice. So one might look at that boy and say, "Oh, he's in the hood, he's um, living the thug life." But really, when you look at it, he's holding a little bunny. He's a child. Can someone who's 5 years old really be a part of the thug life? No, probably not. And it's just kind of shows the stigma around that community, which is really unrealistic in reality, that a child would really be like that at that age. So that's really important thing that I added as well, and that just kind of ties it all in. So I hope that makes sense to people when they look at it, and that they're able to relate to the images I chose to kind of portray about what we learned about in class this semester.